Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. This is Vivian S. Guzman, your host for My Spiritual GPS. And what is a spiritual GPS, right? So it is your own navigation system because a lot of times we find ourselves in certain situations. You are where you are today in your life because of all the experiences and all the things that you've had in the past. It could be your family have influenced you and shaped you to who you are today. Yet, deep within you, your soul is calling for more, right? Your future self, your higher self is going, hello, I'm over here. Are you hearing me? Take a look, because I have a better option for you. And sometimes we go through life just rinsing and repeating what we saw as patterns in our family. But honestly, it's our soul GPS, it's our spiritual GPS that really takes us to where we really want to be, what we want to do, and what we want to have in our lives. So, today we are going to talk about how do you end 2021 to prepare for 2022. So I've invited some of my Transformational Wellness Academy healers because we all have our different practices. And perhaps when you hear these practices, something will resonate with you, something that you may be able to use in your daily life as someone transitioning perhaps from having a corporate job to having your own business. What are the ingredients necessary for you to really feel satisfied, successful, surprised, and even peaceful within your own life and in your own business? Okay. So let's welcome Amy Fahim, our spiral practitioner, and also Vienna Dunham. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello, Vivian. Thanks for having us today. We're doing well.
Yes, yes. And it's so cool because you can see the height just even on TV, right? Like I'm the shortest of them all. We'll put a little disclaimer. This is the real life height, okay? It is not like, the mirror. Sometimes it gives you that illusion that, well, I could get a little taller. Yeah, I could.
There you go.
Perfect. All right, all right. So we want to share with our audience first. What are some of the processes or some of the habits that we've developed over the years to get us where we are today, right? Now, we're not saying this is the end all result of everything. No, because it has to align to your purpose. It has to align to you, right? What works for you. Please don't follow any instructions if it doesn't really feel good to you. That's not our intention. We want you to perhaps get some ideas. What are the things that we do that actually helped us get to where we are today? So let's start with Amy.
Mm.
So Amy, what's your usual? Because the holidays are coming up, right? November, December,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and then it's the holidays. Are there some practices that you do for yourself, just reflecting back on your business, like how it's been, how's life. Can you share that with us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. My strategy, I guess, going into the new year is so what I do is I take inventory of like the big events that kind of happened throughout the year. What were they? What transpired? What did I learn from them? And I that's the energy that I try to carry into the new year is okay, so this is what ended, this is what happened, and this is what I learned from it. So I'm going to leave all of those lessons and all of that all of that in that year, and then moving into the new year I'm taking in that new energy, the energy of what I learned and what I grew from and through, and I carry that into the new year. And then I also am tapping into what my personal year number is. So in numerology, every year carries a different energy with it. There's our universal number year, and then we also each individually have a personal number year. And so that is what I'm going to look at as well, so I can know what to expect going into the new year.
So how do you get your personal number so people would know?
So your personal number is your you're adding up the numbers from your birth month, your birth date, and then each of the numbers of the year. So my birthday is August 5th. So I'm going to add 8 to the 5, and then add the 2 to the 0, and then the 2 and the 2. So that is my personal year number going into 2022, which is going to be a 1 year for me. So all about new beginnings, starting new projects, new partnerships, things like that. So I'm very excited. This year was 9. So that was all about ending cycles and leaving things behind from the previous 9-year cycle that we were in.
Yep. So mine is actually very interesting then. I'm doing the number in my head, and mine is 5, which is actually changed. That's why my I have a name or a theme for the year. So for this next year, 2022, mine would be growth. That is the name of my year next year is growth.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up, because that is one other thing that I do as well, is I'll determine what is my word of the year. So what is the energy that I want to bring also? So I've got my universal year number, and I've got my reflections, but what is the energy that's my soul is wanting to guide me through in the new year? For me, this year was all about devotion. So it was devotion to self, to soul, to my business, to my experiences. It was all about me this year. And so I'm excited to learn what the new word for the next year is going to bring me.
And it's interesting because this year for me was adaptive. To adapt, right? And rightfully so. Like I was trying to figure out, is it success? Is it no, I wanted adaptive. I actually attached that to some of my programs because I really felt like I needed to adapt. It's almost like you don't know where the ground is or the ceiling is, and still now it keeps on changing, right? So I've learned to be adaptive, and it's so fascinating to me that as a generator, my I need to be satisfied, right? In all of my doings, and I'm happy to report that I really feel satisfied. Like I didn't even know what that word meant before. I guess you don't know until you feel it. Until like the word has a meaning to you, not to anybody.
Yeah.
Because they might be satisfied just looking at what I've accomplished over the year. But then I'm like, am I satisfied with myself and all of my accomplishments? Because it doesn't matter. It's just, it could be, I've learned how to set up my own computer. That could be an accomplishment, right? Like I've learned how to turn it on and close all the files, and then it's like, okay, it's organized. It's good. I'm good with that, right? So everybody is different when it comes to their definition. So I just want you to know that, right? It's not about anybody else when you're doing some goal setting like this. It's about you. So if you don't know you, it may be time to know you a little more, because that's really important. So you don't just copy what everybody else says or do, but you can really personalize your year for yourself. All right. How about Vienna? Vienna is our emotion code practitioner, and she's gone through a lot of changes in her life. And so, Vienna, what are you expecting to bring in next year? What are you excited about?
So many things. This year's key word has been transition and flexibility. And I'm really looking forward to this coming year. I'm going to take time to listen. I had the invitation to take time to listen for a specific word last year from one of our mutual friends, Vivian. And I was it's interesting, so afraid I wouldn't hear anything that I quit listening. I was just like, no, isn't that the strangest? Like how did that work out for me? not so much.
It's
So
okay.
this year I'm determined I will sit until I hear, because that's great to have a guiding
Yeah.
thought for the year, something that you just keep coming back to.
Mhm.
And then the thing I'm looking at going into the holidays is I'm paying attention to triggers from holidays. So I just
Mm,
started today. I'm going to be doing some Facebook lives on
mhm.
what what's a trigger from holidays, and then clearing that, like
Yeah.
picking a word. The word that came up today was hopelessness, like devoid of hope,
Mm,
not thinking there's going to be any change. And was reminded that when I
mhm.
would go home from college, I would suddenly turn into a high schooler again. I would respond to my family in exactly the way I had in high school. Have you
Yep.
experienced that? You
Yep.
you go and you have a fantastic year of growth, you've moved away from home, and you come back and you look like you did last year. And you're like, "What
Yep.
was that?"
To them.
Yeah,
To
Mhm.
so
them, right? To them.
right.
But
Exactly.
that's
Well,
what
even to
that's
myself,
one
I
side.
responded just the same as I had last year. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this year I'm going to be preemptive, proactive. And so today I cleared hopelessness and just get that right out of the system. So I invite anybody that wants to clear 10 sweeps over the
Yes.
top of your head in case it's inherited,
Yeah.
and clear out any hopelessness that you have
Hopeless.
about family change or family dynamics, and enjoying the holidays. Another thing that I learned this year that I'm going to put on my daily list. I've not been one to really keep my resolutions. So somebody suggested last year, you know what, just hang that up before you ever start, and just make
Mm.
very simple, purposeful things that really resonate for you. So one that I heard this year, that when you ask the question, aren't questions valuable to us? I think particularly as a reflector, I get to
Yeah.
take things in and reflect on them, and then in our interactions is where I really process my information. So, I one of the tools in a toolkit that I learned along with emotion code is, with each day, you ask God, would you open this day
Mhm.
and cleanse out any trauma I've had on this day at any point in my life, and bless it.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
good.
just a special ritual for each day. And then by the end of the year, you've completely cleared trauma that's related to particular days.
Nice.
So
That's good.
that's
That's good.
that's a new tradition idea.
Yay. That's a good one. And thank you for mentioning that, right? Because if there's a trapped emotion, unfortunately, especially if it's negative attached to it, when you were talking about family, because this happens a lot, right? We go gather again in our living room, dining room, family room, wherever you gather. You come together with your family, which you decided to actually come together with them in this lifetime. You decided, you have a role in that. We can't blame God for everything that happened, right? We we are choosing unconsciously the lessons we needed to learn in this lifetime. That's why we
Mhm.
chose the family that we chose. And I realized what you were saying, that a lot of people in my family, they don't really go through personal development, growth, and transformations. I don't know if you notice that. If you're a healer, you usually are with families that don't even want change. They want the same thing over and over again. You guys are laughing, but is this
Mhm.
true or what?
Because it's so true. It is so true that it's like, as healers, we come into our family units to be the healer for the
Yep.
family. And so it really is a role that we came into this lifetime knowing that that's what we were going to do and be. And our humans can get so up in a tizzy when the family's not following along as we think that they need to
Yes.
be.
Amen to that, right? And I know what you're saying. When I would see my mom, it
Mhm.
almost like she puts you in a position of you're the child,
Mhm.
and until you find a consistent. So first you have to be consistent that you've already grown up and you're not the 16-year-old that she's
Mhm.
talking to.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge, right?
It is.
Because
It is.
patterns are ingrained so much, not just in our brain, in our mind, in our bodies, in our hearts. Okay.
Mhm.
So if she treats you like a child, I mean, it's nice, right? Like she serves you dinner or lunch, she makes you feel comfortable, and she talks my
Offers to do
ear
your
off.
laundry.
Yeah, she just talks my ear off, and I'm like, I'm not used to this
Mhm.
anymore because I'm
Yeah.
the one talking usually, right? When I'm with clients, with my kids, with my family, and I've learned to be silent and just and also let her know if I'm done listening. Because to
Mhm.
me, it's not really polite that somebody's ranting, but I guess they're unconscious. But if you don't tell them, then they really don't know when you've had enough. So
Mhm.
now I do tell her, Mom, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to go. Somebody really needs my help right now. And
Mhm.
she's okay with it now. So now when I cut her off, she's fine. But it's up to us to be conscious and polite about how we respond and be consistent with our response. Otherwise, they're not going to change the way they look at you. It's going to be the same, right? So I encourage people because I started doing this probably a few years ago, a vision board, a vision
Mhm.
board for your family, well, for yourself first. Start with you because you're the core, and then your family, and then perhaps your business, right? So create a vision board. Maybe have a theme. What's your theme? Because that's your personal theme. What's the theme for your family? And obviously, it's a family, so you got to ask them, what do they really want out of life next year? And then, because I like traveling, right? And I opened my mouth today and I just asked them, hey, you guys, I kind of want to travel twice next year. Where do you want to go? And it's interesting. My idea of travel is different from my husband's idea of travel. Because
His
I'm thinking
involves four
airplane.
wheels. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
and his is like, let's drive for 2 weeks cross country. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
That was good to clarify this early in the game. I
Can
like
you
that.
guys
Mhm.
relate? When I say travel, when you talk to another person, even the three of us, if I talk about
Mhm.
travel, I'm thinking international. I don't know what you're thinking. It could be, what are you thinking when I said travel?
When you say travel, when I hear travel, I'm thinking internationally. I'm on an airplane
Okay,
and crossing an ocean to get
okay,
somewhere.
okay. So that's her definition, right? How about you, Vienna, when I said
Mhm.
travel?
It
What
involves an airplane, but I hadn't crossed the water in my mind yet.
okay,
It
okay,
was
okay,
Mhm.
within
okay.
the continental US. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So travel in my head, and then when he said 2 weeks, so for me, that's a response, right? So I take it as
Mhm.
true, and I go looking at my calendar already for next year and looking at, okay, what am I going to block for 2 weeks? What am I going to
Mhm.
accomplish before I actually travel? And I can give myself a reward during that travel. That becomes a reward for me. You see? So I make it a game in my mind that, oh, if I actually accomplish this, then I give myself permission to do this. I'm good with that. Therefore, it's going to be laser focused for all my activities, right? Because in
Mhm.
my head, if I'm saying I'm going to travel for 2 months, I already choose the two two particular times in the year that I will travel. So it could be 1 month off for this and another month off for another time. So
Mhm.
I would plan the big picture in my head. And then in my vision board, I'm going to attach a feeling to the travel, the feeling that my family's together, we're having a good time, we don't have any limitations with money. Like that, those are the things I'm going to attach to this travel thing. Does this make sense? Because this
Mhm.
is my
Yeah.
dream. And then I'm like, okay, if I do this, actually I get to do that. It's like game on for me. Nothing stopping me there, right?
Mhm.
I found to make it efficient and effective, that my dream board has sections. So I divide the year into four, right? Like per quarter, so that I'm not confused. Because, we want a lot of things in our businesses, right? But I have a laser focus attention on, okay, what do I need to achieve for the first 3 months of the year and the next 3 months of the year? And then if I add those together, then I make my beautiful year the way I intended it to be. I know that sounds easier than normal, huh?
Some things are easier said than done, but when we do it and we make it a practice and we're practicing it, that's when things start to shift. That's when we get to really lock it in and feel
Right.
into it.
So now let's talk about self-sabotage, because how can we sabotage our own dream?
Yes.
How do
I love
you
this topic.
self-sabotage
I really
yourself
love this
in the
topic.
past? It's okay. So we have this dream, right? I got a dream, right? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to cut it, divide it by 4, which is 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And I get to have a little bit of a like, ooh, this is good. I'm going to do this if I do that. This is good. So there's always a reward for me. Whatever it is, it could be a massage, a spa day with friends. It could be a trip somewhere else, but I always have some kind of reward attached to an activity so that I get to do it and I get to enjoy it. Okay. So how about you guys? What is this self-sabotage tendency that you've done over the years when you have a dream with a deadline? See, the thing is, a dream is a dream. But if I have a goal with a deadline, that's different, because I know I have to make things happen in order to actually get this reward. Because if it's a dream, it's in the clouds. But when I bring it to reality, it's a totally different story. You'll feel good about yourself. So how have you self-sabotaged yourself in the past?
I'm very familiar with my self-sabotage patterns. I'm very aware of them, and I'm very aware of when I'm in them.
Wonderful.
Okay,
awareness is half the battle.
Some time to get here, but I've got a real big focus on my self-sabotage right now. So that's why it's such a live topic for me. So what I've noticed and what I've realized is that when I'm starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with something, I'm going to add more things to my plate.
I used to be like that.
So that I can distract myself with 5 other things instead of doing that one thing that I know that I need to do right now.
Yeah. Well, because you have to justify that you're really overwhelmed. That's why you can't do that one thing that you're supposed to do, right?
Yep. I've got all these things I got to do over here. So really, this one, I can't do it right now.
Yeah. It's too hard.
So that is something that I'm working through right now and working to transition out of. And so right now, the awareness is there, and I'm recognizing when I'm in that pattern.
Yep. Very good. Thank you. How about you, Vienna? How does self-sabotage show up?
Yeah, a big part of mine is second guessing. So I'll make a goal and then go, I don't think I heard right on that. So if I add in some accountability so that I'm getting some feedback from people in real time as I'm making the goal, then I have not just the assurance that I'm seeing, feeling, hearing appropriately, but I also have said it out loud to someone and give them the permission and even make a request that they check with me and be sure I'm moving along with it.
Accountability buddy, that's important.
I love that. Having someone else to bounce that off. Bounce those ideas off of. Am I really doing this because it's what I want to be doing? Is it moving forward, or am I actually allowing something else to come in and take my focus over here?
Right.
And so much has transitioned in the last couple of years. The whole pattern before that was meeting other people's goals. So what was everyone else's goal for me? And so then the self-sabotage is just, I didn't want to do it anyway, but I couldn't recognize that until I got to know myself and went, hey, wait, What does
What does
Vienna
Vienna
want?
want?
So I'm
So
starting to listen to her now.
yes, very good. What does Vienna want? And that's so
Mhm.
important, right? Especially for those of you with personal profiles. In human design, right? I'm a 1-4. So 1 to 3 are personal profiles. So honestly, you can replace selfish with selfless.
Mm.
You really are just taking care of you because knowing that if you're 100%, you can give with
Mhm.
from an overflow and you're not depleted,
Yes.
right? So the thing with a lot of people is they're like, oh, but I get, yeah, but I have a 4, 5, or 6 profile, right? However, you're depleted, so nobody follows you because and then you get frustrated. You're like, how come nobody's
Mhm.
listening to me? Because you're not
Yep.
following your own instructions. Okay. So you can't tell the universe something and then you're not following it, that you're out of integrity. I
Yep.
mean, it's kind of like you said you're from God and then you're out of integrity. That doesn't sound right. It's like,
Mm.
you mean God says this and then he doesn't deliver? I don't think so. So, so the
There,
point
there was
here,
a part that you had to play to meet that halfway. God will come
yes,
here, but you got to meet him right here, and that
that's
is when
right.
the magic happens.
That's
Yeah.
right, right. So for me, that's been because I'm a 1-4, right? So the 1 is a creator, so I create all kinds of things, but the 4 is an opportunity. If I am calm and I'm a generator just waiting to respond, I could be sitting at my desk and somebody will call me. I could be doing my daydreaming or doing nature walk and I'm just doing my Facebook live sharing goodness to people and then they're like, I really like you. Can you connect with me? Or I'm like, where'd that come from?
Mhm.
Because God works in mysterious ways. And so we have to do our job for ourselves first because we're the magnet of our universe. Remember, you're the magnet of your universe. Who you are is who you attract.
Mhm.
That's right.
You're the Earth with her gravitational pull, pulling everything in.
Yep.
Everything you ask for, it's all being drawn into
Yeah.
you. Mhm.
All right. So I'm going to answer the question, my own question of how do I self sabotage? So
Mhm.
I'm the one with big dreams, right? So, and since I'm a creator, I know a lot of things that I'm doing. A lot of times they haven't been done by anybody. And then years later passes and I see all these different healers and I'm like, they're teaching what I'm teaching. I've been teaching that for years and nobody was listening. At that time, years ago, and I recognized that in myself, that even my programs from 2019 is very appropriate now because they finally caught
Mhm.
up. They're finally catching up to what
Yeah.
I'm saying then.
You're ahead
And
of
I'm
your
like,
time.
oh.
Cost
So
of being a leader.
Yeah.
yes, and I remember this. It's almost like you know how when God sends your soul to a body and goes, you know what you need to learn in this lifetime, Vivian? Patience. Okay, patience, patience.
Give me patience now.
Come on, more
That's
patience.
my
Come on
mantra. Give me patience now. I can delete all the impatience and just have patience now. I
in.
would breathe,
Mhm.
meditate. And even if
Mhm.
it's funny when you're so slow, you're actually so fast, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because I could be sitting here, right angle cross of penetration. Ask me a question, I'll give you straight the answer. Now, obviously, all of us take directions differently. Because if let's say I'm treating a client and I look at the client and I said, I don't know why you're with that husband because it's not really you guys are not a match. So what do you want in a relationship? And then you as the person, especially women, are very emotional, right?
Mhm.
I remember these are different answers I've heard before. I just can't leave him because he left me before. That was one answer I got. I said, but your shoulder pain is connected to this. You're trying to control everything, including his feelings for you. And then she said, but I want you to fix my shoulder as a physical therapist. That I'm not, I wasn't even an energy healer back then. And I said to her, But your control issue is in your shoulder. You're trying to control everything, but you can't control the feelings of this guy or the behavior of your husband. And she's like, well, I'll just keep the pain. That's exactly what she told me. I'll keep the pain. I said,
Okay.
okay, then I'll discharge you today. And because I don't want to keep on charging people money if they're not really going to be in alignment with who they are, because they were aligning their life based on that other person. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, writing across of penetration, if you're not ready for the message, they really either hate me, they avoid me, or they run away from me, or they love me so much because I saved them time and money and energy that they would have wasted if they kept on going with that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So my self-sabotage though is because I know that's me. I almost go, well, who's gonna want to hire me? That's one
Right.
form of self-sabotage. Or why would they pay that much money if they can have a therapist that would, drag them for a long time before they even get that result? But that's the shortcut. It's like,
Yeah.
where's
That's
the
when it
answer?
comes down. That's the integrity piece. That's what it comes down to
Yes.
there. It's the
Yes.
integrity.
That's right.
So I learned to wait to respond. So I still say my message, but I wait. I don't chase people. Somehow I wait for the universe to bring them to me because I'm a generator. I'm like a magnet. So whoever wants that kind of integrity and that shortcut, they come to me.
Mhm.
But obviously to grow up in that state, I had to go through a lot and to have to confront my own issues. Healing is not
Yeah.
being a healer. It's not easy, you guys. Okay. So if you don't have the tenacity, the endurance to really work on yourself, don't even try to be a healer. I'm just telling you, don't
Well,
even
yeah.
It's not
Just saying.
The moment you decide to become a healer is the moment that all of your stuff starts to come up to be healed, processed, and moved through. Because it's
Yes.
through all of that that you'll be able to then heal others because you've already
Yes.
been through it and they feel that, they recognize that. It's a soul recognition at that point.
Yes. Yes. So for us, we have to clear a lot of things, right? Does it mean we're done? Oh my God, far from it.
How many years have you been on the planet currently?
That's right. That's right. So
I've got y'all beat. Just
by the way,
saying.
it's not the age, okay?
No, at
It's
all.
the
Not at all.
lessons that you needed to learn. So when God hits you, this is what I tell people. If you got a sign and God hit you with a pebble and you did not listen, he's going to hit you with a 2x4. And then eventually he's going to run over you with a Mack truck. And finally you're going to listen. So
I've had a
please
few
don't
Mack
worry
truck
about
experiences.
I'm just telling you, that's the reality of things, right?
Yeah, we
So
get to choose.
it is. We
I
get to
chose
choose.
Mack truck a few times.
If you like Mack truck massage, go for it. So,
Pass. I'm just
called
paying
Vienna.
attention to pebbles.
Yeah.
I called Vienna.
I
the
bring
other
that
day.
in.
Yes, I called Vienna, and I also called Adele. She's our quantum frequency expert. So I called Vienna. I go, Vienna. So she did some healing on me, right? Emotion releases, and it's interesting because in the past, the first few times I've been working with Vienna, it was like so like on point, release, 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 and then it's like, it worked, and it wasn't like life altering for me. And so then I called Adele, right? And I said, okay, can you work on my quantum frequency? I think something's not right, right? She did it twice within a week, and then 3 signs. When the usual things you did doesn't work as effective, you're not listening to the sign. So I was doing my quiet time and I said, okay, God, I heard you. You really want me to jump over there, right? Like, you really want me to serve those people with complicated problems, those corporate people, right? Which means I got to raise my rates again, right? Because their problems are different than someone that's just working on themselves. Totally different. Okay.
Yeah.
They have more responsibilities. And when you
A lot
don't
of
listen,
different dynamics at play as well.
Mhm.
yes, that's my growth. That's my own growth. I'm
Yeah.
going that way, right? So then, as I elevate, they're feeling it. So my healers would now be addressing your issues, right? Motion code, the spiral, right? With the chakra system, even Therese with our oracle card reading, and and our human design teacher. So once you know who you are, right? There's no other way but up.
Yeah.
It's an elevation of your consciousness.
Yeah. I want to really highlight that, Vivian. What just every week I learn more about my human design. I'm a 1-3 projector. I listened to some more things last night,
Mhm.
and it's so clarifying. So that's another thing I want to say. We've got 6 weeks or so till the end of the year, and I want to encourage people, if you haven't checked into your human design yet, go ahead and go to Jovian Archive or freehumandesignchart.com and find out what it is and start researching. It's not something you're going to learn in a week at a
Yeah.
great level of detail, but you're going to learn enough to apply. And I just have to say thank you again for encouraging me to believe I'm a projector and to honor that. And one of the things that, here we are, and I'm going to encourage everybody, get a piece of paper and take 5 minutes when we're done here and write down something that you want to apply here at the end of the year to go more with more strength into next year.
Mhm.
And in the course of this half hour, I have decided I'm going to take some days of rest at the end of the year so that I go in rested. I heard someone teach last night a projector must not be exhausted.
Yep.
They cannot do their design if they're exhausted. So
Yep. 2 to
I've
4 hours of work, Vienna. Remember? That's
and
really productive work during that time. That's it.
Yeah.
and it I finally that was a little bit odd to me. It was like, how can I just work a few hours a day? And then one of the people I
Yes,
listened to said,
Vienna.
yeah, here's the deal. You spend part of the rest of that time strategizing. So a projector may actually get 8 hours worth of work done in 2 to 3 hours because they've so fine-tuned the process. So then I was at peace with it. I was like, actually, I have done that. I get that.
Yes. You just
So
have to flex that muscle again as a
Yep.
projector, right? And like I said, I mean, if you look at me, I'm a generator, but I don't work 8 hours a day. You guys think I do. Not really. You
Well, in
notice?
how you define work, your walk in the
Right?
park is actually part of your
Yeah,
work.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
saying, 3-hour walk.
that's
That would
right.
feel like work to me.
No, I do it when my body says so. I listen to my body.
I love
I'm
that.
like,
I'm
Yeah.
learning from that.
and then my mind, I'm like, it's so busy. If I can't think, I can't strategize when my mind is busy. I need my trees and the park. I just need to be me.
Yeah.
And like me, without any, I call it interference,
Mhm.
like anybody else's thoughts. I don't really care at that point because it's no use to me at that point, right? I just want to feel better. So remember, I need to be satisfied. So that's my goal every day. I have to feel satisfied every day. If I've done one activity, and I'm a generator, I used to have 8 to 10 lists, which makes me frustrated, which is my not self. So now I go, okay, what do I need to accomplish today? First, I want to feel good. Always, that's my first goal. So I do my nature walk. And then if I do this one thing, I'm good. That's it. Well, usually I do two. I'm an overachiever. So I've already recorded a TV show before this show. Does this make sense? Right? But I'm
Yeah.
a generator, right? I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. So I might as well do something, right? And do an extra one just in case. So then that frees up my other 30 minutes or hour the following week because I don't need to prepare because I'm stacking my activities. So my efficiency level is high because somehow I group my activities together. And then it just click the button and play in the internet. That's it.
Yeah.
And the rest, I can spend time with family, I can, hang out with the kids or my hubby. I can have a date. That's that. But it takes practice,
It
right?
does. It does. Takes a lot of practice. Yeah, and when we're venturing out on a new journey, when we're really trying to change and make those changes in our lives, we
Mm,
have to be aware and very conscious of
yeah.
what we're doing, the activities we're doing, and also what are the activities that I want to be doing? What lights
Mhm.
me up during the day? It's like, why don't we do those activities that really brings you joy in the beginning part of your day instead of waiting till the end, because that's what's going to bring you alive. That's what's going to bring that energy forward into your work and really infuse it with your essence, which is what we're
Yeah.
looking for. We want to feel your essence in your work.
And that's so funny you mentioned that, right? Because our 8-figure coach, we just had our, she's setting us up for the dream vision, right? And she was saying like what's really important to you. So for example, for her, she was talking about her hubby, her relationship with the hubby, and she wanted to have a nature walk together with him every morning, which doesn't sound like, is that related to business? I can tell you,
Mhm.
even if you've achieved a few $1 million, but your relationships are broken, it doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
Because it feels off. It's like, yeah, I got this like $10 million, but then now I'm going through a divorce, right? Like that's what's gonna happen. So what she's saying is to allow yourself to really live with your values, like what's important to you, knowing that if you gave yourself that little time with your loved ones, right?
Mhm.
Build up upon that. So now they're also cheering you on when you start getting this success, right? Because now two of you are celebrating rather than only you're celebrating, and he's kind of left behind because he's like, yeah, 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 but I didn't have any part of that, right?
Mhm.
So it's fascinating to know that because we're humans, we go through dynamics, right? We have dynamics with other people.
Mhm.
We're not an island. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't be like, yeah, yeah, you're successful, but who cares if your kids hate you, your husband, like there's a lot of dynamics and not everybody
Mhm.
has a
Yeah.
husband, right?
Mhm.
So you go with what works for you, like your own important values to you, and set up your business from there, knowing that as you balance all those out in a daily or weekly basis, monthly basis, then you're going to love the outcome. That
Mhm.
success you're talking about really feels good to you because you feel it like in your core.
Mhm.
Like it just
Yeah.
didn't touch you, you touched everyone around you in the process. Yeah,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah. So to recap, we have this whole 2021. It's gonna happen clearing 2021, December 3 and 10. And the way we were gonna set this up is we want you to really have. That's why there's a week apart. Once you know what it is you needed to declutter in your life, I suggest you declutter. Actually, you gotta declutter
Yep.
physically, even emotionally. So Vienna can help you with the emotion uh, coherence releases. And Vienna, can you invite them, please? Because tonight something's happening, right? There's a group emotion code. Can you share that with them, please?
Yes. So we're going to have group emotion code, and there'll be somewhat of a focus on clearing trapped emotions around the holidays. So if someone
Mm.
wants to come with something else, they're welcome to. But that's the invitation, is to
Ah.
come and bring that so that you can end this year strong, because a lot of people, if they've had a difficult time around end of the year holidays, then they end up starting the year on a rough note because they've just hijacked the whole plane, right? So if we can sail into that smooth waters, then so much the better
Mm.
for doing that. So that'll be one of our focal points tonight.
Mhm.
Ah,
So
cool.
six
And
o'clock,
6
six
o'clock.
o'clock Pacific.
Okay,
And I
6
saw
o'clock.
you drop the link there. So
Yes, yes. So I was trying to make it bigger. So how about you, Amy? Where
Mhm.
do you want to invite people to join you?
Yeah, yeah. I have some openings right now for folks to go through the spiral with me, which is a seven level clearing and releasing limiting beliefs and all of that through the chakra system. We focus on the themes of the chakra and we clear out all of the stagnant, stuck things that are blocking you in that energy center and keeping you from really moving forward in your life and business. And
Right.
so I have that coming up. Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who really just love the energy of this group, and I know some of you have attended our manifestation booster. So I, Vienna, Amy, and Therese are going to be part of your healer team called Path and Purpose, right? So I dropped the link there because all of these goodies you're hearing, like you have private sessions with these beautiful ladies and also some group sessions, right, with Amy for her spiral to clear your chakras and really like clear it for good, not just clear it, just like clear it a little bit. No, you clear it for good, right?
Mm-hmm. We are excavating and pulling that stuff out and just getting rid of all of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Clearing it out for the year.
Yes. So we have a Path and Purpose. It says December because it's actually starting in December. Amy's going to start her spiral first. Mm-hmm. And then you get to schedule all these group and private sessions with us, with our team, with Vienna and Therese. Right? Who doesn't want an oracle card reading? It gives you guidance, it gives you direction. And of course, when she gives you that direction, you start getting antsy, right? And stressed out because you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I can't even get there. So Vienna is going to help you clear all those emotional blocks. So then, and even your code of consciousness, sometimes your code of consciousness is you're an employee. That's the reason why you can't get to the entrepreneurial world. I mean, those are two different mindsets.
Yeah.
So if you love growth, because you're not going to grow if you're not willing to be uncomfortable. If you are very comfortable with your life, you don't want it to change, please don't sign up. I'm telling you, because you're just gonna pull everybody down because you're okay. Like you don't think you're gonna need a change. I congratulate you because you finally got there, right? Whatever you're doing, you're satisfied, you're peaceful, you're surprised, you're good with your life. But if there's something, and by the way, your mind will say, oh, it's that relationship, oh, it's that money, when it's really not. It's deeper than you think. And if you would allow these beautiful ladies to help you heal those, it could be an inner child wound, it could be you're just wounded in so many levels, and you can clear that energy. A lot of them is not yours anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that. A lot of these things are not yours, but you took it on. Maybe you're really that big buffed, energetic being, right? And when you can give yourself permission to be yourself. Hey, ladies, what happens when they give themselves permission to be themselves?
I can't. It's freedom. It is freedom. It is freedom from everything. It's freedom from your thoughts. It's freedom from your own mind.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Finally, that chatter, right? How about you, Vienna? What happened when you gave yourself permission to grow up and just be yourself?
I had to release a lot of stuff. I'm not going to say it was a walk in the park, but I'm going to say it's a 1,000 tons off.
Yeah.
Speaking of level of consciousness, out of 1,000, my heart coherence, intention coherence, emotion coherence were all 20 and below out of 1,000.
Wow.
So yeah, I was in a rough spot. Yes. And now I've jumped up to, and that was, grief, shame, super low vibrating emotions. And happy to say now I'm hanging out in love, joy, peace. And consistently, with the ability to get up there to transcendence, just like happy, super high vibration at times, and just to enjoy God's presence in a new way. So
Yeah.
So grateful, and
Yeah.
had to leave the baggage, the backpack that I'd picked up myself. Can't blame anybody.
Yeah.
Every single rock, I picked it up myself, and I had to
Oh
lay
my
it back
God.
down to be able to run. It's pretty hard to run the race
Oh,
with a backpack of rocks.
right.
Just
Okay.
saying.
Yeah.
So just to start everybody off in a good note, we are gonna
Mhm.
do a gratitude relay, right? From today all the way till next week, because it's Thanksgiving, you guys. So if you want to post videos of yourself, your family, I just want to bring the energy up of the group, right? We do this a lot in this team, right?
Mhm.
We want you to be in a state of gratitude. See, you can't be like in gratitude when you're blaming, complaining, and shaming still. It just doesn't work because it's like you go like this, but you go like this. So then you end up somewhere in the middle. You're not really grateful, so then you can't really manifest. Do you see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And the only way to do it is usually consistency, right? Let's repeat this gratitude relay. Anyone can post. We're going to actually showcase 3 winners. So the ones that are really like they feel it, they infuse the energy of gratitude in their words, their face, their body, and then of course watch what happens to your life. We're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for you because I want you to see what it's like when the
Mhm.
frequency is high and you're just grateful because you are here. You're grateful because you're you. You're grateful because, by the way, I was doing nature walk and I got 2 pennies today,
I
like
saw the picture.
literally. I'm
Mhm.
like, wow, thank you very much, God. I'm like,
I
woo,
love that.
and I don't know, I got tickled just by finding it. So I knew I was in a state of gratitude. I knew I was in a state of manifestation. Pretty much anything
Mhm.
I think about now, it happens. I can just tell you that because that's how quick manifestation is when your mind is not busy. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it's very hard. I mean, it's almost like it's easier if you just hit your head with a rock. That's easier. And then you can stop your loop, your thought loop, and just
Mhm.
be quiet because you have to be in a hospital bed, right?
I think I'll pass on that one.
Yeah.
And one of the things you've taught Vivian is to notice the abundance around us. If you
Mhm.
think
Yes,
there's no
Yeah.
abundance, try to count the leaves on a tree. And somebody pointed out the other
yes.
day to consider water, the abundance of water.
Ah,
So
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
cheers.
so true.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, so let's do that all together, right? And then we're going to announce the winner after Thanksgiving, because really that's the point, right? We're building up to Thanksgiving. And I want you to notice just by doing this little gratitude relay exercise, what kind of family interactions have you had on Thanksgiving on these relatives that somehow like kind of like trigger you? Maybe they won't anymore because you have inserted an activity that actually changes the frequency of your life.
Mhm.
So I challenge you, and I'm going to check on you next week. All right.
That's right.
Well, thank you,
We'll be looking for those
everyone.
posts.
Yes,
Yes.
let's do those posts, and you can post as many videos as you like per day, right?
Mhm.
So we're just gonna declare the first, second, and third winner depending on the energy, right? The energy that you put out there, because and obviously I'm sure you're gonna tell me what results you got just because you've been doing it. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you, everyone. This was fun,
Thank you,
Thank you.
and I
Vivian.
hope
Thank you
you
for having
enjoyed
us.
this. Bye.
Bye.